Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to the market close for Friday, August 4th, 2024. We got ourselves a green day. We're finishing out the week, and we're going to look here in just a moment and see, is this a green week? We had a lot of red in the week, but is it a green week? Hit me up in the chat. Let me know what you guys think. Green week or not. And hit me up fast because we're going to switch over there pretty darn fast as we move along. Another little reminder: this week, it is the first Sunday of the month. Thus, we got some free channel memberships to drop. So you don't want to miss that one there. Put it on your calendar. That will be on Sunday at 4 p.m. Eastern time. So can't wait. It's going to be a good one. Gonna be a good one for sure. All right. Let's jump into the charts here.
I'm not quite sure how to help you with that.
Alexa is not going to be able to help us with the charts, but that's fine. All right. This is the TSX. So we're in the green today. We are currently up 0.76%. Here's the beautiful thing. This purple line is where we began the month. So we actually began right over here. I believe this is the one here. Yeah, right here on October 1st. So this is where we started the month. So we currently are in a green month. We're going to see if we can keep the green going. At least I think we're going to end the month on the green. I'm pretty sure before the month is out, we may cross back down. But I think at the end of the month, we will be above this purple line. And I've got this line. I got it extended. So look here. We don't even have to touch that line. It's going to be there for the whole month for us. We'll use that to keep track of how things are going. The United States, also green, up 0.76%. Of course, the United States, they had a jobs report that dropped today, and it was fantastic. It was fantastic. They absolutely beat expectations. Almost twice as many jobs as what they were expecting. And in addition to that, their unemployment rate came down a wee bit. So that's good news for the U.S. Not great news for rate cuts. Now, what I mean by that is that you're not going to see many more of the big jumbo sized if they're getting numbers like this. So it probably means that their next rate cut will be probably a 25. So, if this had been a bad report, then yeah, we would have been looking at probably another 50, but it's looking like a 25 now. Now, so the S&P up 0.79, NASDAQ up a full 1.1%, not too shabby. Dow Jones is up 0.77. Gold's down a wee bit, down 0.24. Silver's up 0.63. WTI having a good week. A lot of uncertainty in the Middle East. So speaking of WTI, I'm going to be doing on the 0 to 100K. I said each month I'll put out some information on what's going on now that we're on a quarterly video schedule. But I will say, I pulled the trigger on DE. So I have closed that position. I took a loss. That was fine. I knew I was going to, but there was an opportunity at the beginning of this week. That opportunity is oil. I can see where it's going. And as long as these hostilities are happening in the Middle East, it's going to be good for the price of oil. So I sold those out and I moved them all over into XEG. So that we'll see whether or not if I can make that all back by the end of this crisis. Yeah, I think I will. I have a feeling that was my ticket to just make up what I've lost on DE. So they are no longer in the challenge. They are gone. They are retired. So anyway, I will break that down, of course, when I do the community tab at the beginning of each month. I will do a breakdown of where we are in that challenge. Okay. Yeah, that was with WTI. Bitcoin having a pretty good day, up 2.65%. Ethereum having a better day, up 3.21%. All right, now let us hit the heat map. Oh, I've got all the losers turned off. here we are, winter-wise. We got oil, olive oil. You can see that. Energy minerals doing good. Canadian Natural Resources up. Synovus up. Tulamine up. We're getting a lot of good green over here. All of our utilities looking good. Enbridge is up 0.82. Not bad, not too bad. CP's up. CN's down a little bit. Alimentation Couche-Tard is up a little bit, while Loblaw is low. They're down a little bit, 1.11%. Banks, well, they're all looking pretty good. They're looking okay. They're all up a little bit. All right. And once again, the ETFs are actually looking pretty good. I don't, I wonder. There needs to be a search function. I'd like to actually, we'll look at XEG a little bit later anyway. I'll show you XEG since that was the move I made. They're not showing up here, but they're doing well. They are doing well. So we'll talk a little bit more about that. Looking at the US, holy banana bread. This looks so green that it reminds me of summer. Not summer in the stock market, summer in the lawn. It's very, very green. Meta, look at that. They're up 2%. NVIDIA is up 1.49. Broadcom's up 2.75. Tesla, 3.79. So yes, the U.S. market is reacting very well to the jobs data today. So definitely it's funny. Before the market opened and I saw the jobs data, I knew it was going to be a green day for the U.S. No doubt about it. No doubt whatsoever. All right, switching to crypto. Once again, look at this. Looking fantastic green. The only thing that stands out being red is Tron. And that's fine. I mean, Tron to me, it's not one of those coins I would invest in anyway. But Bitcoin up 2.63, Ethereum 3.24, Solana 5.15. Holy cow. And there is a lot. There's a lot of coins. There's a lot of little coins in here. There's about 14,000 of these little coins. We're going to find one that I have never heard of. Now, because it's a green day, we're going to choose a red one. Let's go with this little one right in here. There's no way that this can be near protocol. Though, who we got? Nest protocol. Okay, well, it's a protocol. Yeah, I mean, here it is. They're worth 0.0007 cents. That's not much. At one point, though, look here, they used to be worth half a penny. I don't know what Nest protocol does, but once again, it's one of those 14,000 crap coins that I'm never going to own. I always recommend stick to the good ones. Stick to coins that you know what they're gonna do. Stay away from stuff like this. Absolutely stay away from stuff like this. Oh boy. Yeah, so that is our random crap coin of the day. All right, now let's get rid of this for a moment. Let's come back to you guys. Holy banana bread. We got a lot of folks in the chat right now. Stan says, happy Friday, all. We got a hello from 9. Ricardo says, good afternoon. Does anybody know the MOC data? Good question. Throw it in chat if you do. I'm not sure what you're referring to for MOC. I'm probably just, for some reason, it's not gelling. But give me a bit more information and maybe we can look at it together. Jordan says, good afternoon, Candace. Hope you are doing all right this fine Friday. Yeah, absolutely. It's a good day. If you hear bells off to the side, that's the kitten. She's playing with the door right now. Funny Books is here with a hi all. Happy Friday. And Funny Books guessed green. So yes, we're having a green month thus far, a green week thus far. Jonathan says, I'm running late. Oh boy. Well, hopefully you can make it before the bell, Jonathan. You got about 5 minutes and a few seconds. All right. Ricardo says, I exit wheat this week for a month-ish long swing from 477 to 550 on 100 shares. So not too shabby. No, nothing wrong with that. Whoops. Here we go. All right, there we go. Come on, get back there. Ricardo says rate cuts odds decrease significantly. They are pricing maybe 25 basis points, maybe even a hike if inflation report comes stronger. I don't know. I don't think we're going to see a hike. I really don't think that they're going to like do an about face. Not unless some really crazy stuff happens. I could see them pausing. I would say pausing would be more, if inflation, if CPI came in heavy, they could certainly pause. But I have a feeling that that's not going to be the case. Inflation has been definitely moving down, just that they have a strong economy at the same time. So normally it doesn't quite work that way, but this time it is. What's in the DE position? Never looked into it. So DE is decisive dividend. They're basically into, I believe it's warehousing. But let me show you. Do we have time? Yes, we do. We have enough time. All right. Let's come over here. DE. Here we go. Decisive Dividend Corporation. They're a small cap, so they're on the venture exchange. But we'll go right down to what they do first of all. So here we go. So they're an acquisition-oriented company focused on manufacturing. So they do manufacturing. They do acquire other companies. So they kind of act a little bit like an ETF, but not really in that sense. But oh boy, let's just look at the last 3 months. They've been on this downward trend. So I got off that bus. I do believe they will probably come back up at some point. But here's the thing. I'm looking at the iShares S&P TSX Capped Energy ETF. So this is a straight up ETF. There's no covered calls. It's just straight up energy. It does work. It does go pretty close. Like here's the last week. Nice little climb. We'll go to the last year. So you can see when oil does well, it does great. And as oil has been coming down, so has this ETF. But now we're at a point where I think we're really going to get some movement on here, especially if this continues to get worse. And that's where I'm going to make some of that money back, the money that I lost on DE. Now, I didn't lose a lot. Like I think after you subtract the dividends, because they had dividends coming in, I probably lost maybe $70. Maybe $70. I think I'll make that back pretty good. So I put the entire position into this one here, into XCG. So I'm looking. That was kind of what I was looking for. I was looking for an opportunity. Like I wanted to get out of DE, but I wanted an opportunity that I could move it into to recoup those losses. So that's one of these situations where I always say, because some people will say, I will never sell it in the red. I'm never going to take a loss. I will take a loss if by taking that loss and where I'm moving it to, I'm going to make that back and maybe some more. Then yeah, that's a completely different situation. So there are times when you can take what I would call a good loss. And I think this is going to turn into a good loss, but we'll watch. We'll watch it as the challenge progresses and we'll find out. We'll find out if it was a good loss or not. So just something to keep in mind. We have about a minute and a couple of seconds here before the bell. Ricardo says, I want to be big size when the bell hits. Let's see. Ricardo says, I'm so sad I got clapped on gain. It gapped down $1 since X date of special dividend was yesterday. Yes, that happened. So paying attention, like if you're going to get out of an asset, be aware when their X dividend date is, because when that date hits, whatever dividends are going out, whether it be a special dividend or the regular dividends, that's being subtracted from the market cap. And that is going to deflate that price a little bit on that day. So always pay attention. All right. We got about 30 seconds. Burgers says Tencent is buying Ubisoft. That'll open all those video games to the Chinese market along with anime. There we go. I mean, right now, China has pumped so much into that stimulus that, I think the Chinese market's going to look good for the rest of the year. That's for sure. And I know that you were mentioning about some of the shorts that you had. Uh-oh, we have seconds left. Here we go. It's the end of the week. Welcome to the weekend, folks. Welcome to the market closed. There we go. It's almost like I should just put a D at the end. All right. Yeah, I can't. It's fantastic. I'm loving it. Let's see. Ricardo says market on close is usually the last 10 minutes of orders. You can view on level 2 data to see how the market will end. Okay. Yeah, that's kind of interesting. I've never really looked at that, to be honest. I haven't. Very interesting. Now I'm gonna have to do some research now. Thank you, Ricardo. Thank you. But I do like that idea. I like the sound of that. Funny Book says gas is going up 5 cents at midnight. Yeah, get ready for that, folks. Quite literally, if your tank, if you've got room in your gas tank now, fill up because gas is going to keep going up as long as this conflict continues. Be prepared to pay a bit more. Ricardo says, is that gasoline or natural gas? All right. And Jonathan made it for the bell. I love it. Awesome. Mario says, good afternoon, everyone. And Jersky's in with a good afternoon. Jersky says, great video about TELUS. Thank you. Yeah, so I've changed up the thumbnail a little bit with this one as well. Looking to try to just, I don't know, I'm trying to make the thumbnails more interesting, I guess. Or just, I don't know, slicker looking? Who knows? I'm just trying, I'm trying to change up the thumbnails a little bit. And I know with this video as well, it was kind of fun. I did add a few extra little things in it and a few extra little graphics and things like that. So, yeah, I'm enjoying it. I liked it. I think it's a great video. So, hopefully we can get, I'd like to get it to 1,000 views. That's kind of the goal. So if you haven't watched the TELUS video, please do. Please do. We're trying to get that one up to 1,000. Let's see. Ricardo says level 2 data is literally the ladder on the orders that are placed and taken. So you see the actual lots of shares that are moving in the stock. Yes. Interesting. To me, it sounds like deep diving into data, and sounds very good. I like that thought. Funny Books is saying gasoline. Okay. And this is, I was talking about this on the last market close. 9 is currently DCAing into ENCL, ENCC. Got in before all of this happened. So that's fantastic. That's going to be looking great. And I thought about that when I was moving at a DE. I was like, well, this is what it boiled down to be honest. There are events occurring in the Middle East that if they were to spiral, we could see gas move fast, like oil prices. They could potentially move very fast. So with a covered call, there is that chance of missing some of that upside potential. That was one of the reasons I was like, okay, I don't want to go in a covered call just in case. I'm going, and that's kind of like worst case scenario. Honestly, I'm hoping it doesn't go worst case scenario. I'm hoping that we get a peaceful resolution and that, but honestly, oh boy, I don't see it happening, but I can still hope for one. All right. And Ricardo says traders are required to submit their market on close orders by 3:45 p.m. Eastern. On the NASDAQ, traders are required to submit their orders by 3:50 Eastern since the market closing time is 4 p.m. Yeah, that makes sense. And it's kind of that interesting thing. It's kind of like, it's sort of like the end of day record keeping for the market and the way it works. So yeah, I mean, I've heard of it before. I just never really looked into it. Let's see, doing good now. Oh, I imagine you're doing fantastic. All right. Jay says here in Winnipeg, gas tax break gets extended until December. Nice. Yeah, nice. I mean, we're all taxed way too much. If you ask me, like way too much. So any break that we can get from, even if it's just from the provincial government, fantastic. Give it to us. Give it to us. Nine says, I enjoy investing in energy as well. So that helped. Yeah, energy is, it's kind of interesting. When you look at Canada, investing wise, energy is one of the stronger sectors, one of our big sectors. You've got energy, you've got financials. Those are really between the two. And well, I guess you can look at utilities. Those are really some of the big ones. But energy's always been, I've always liked energy. And, right now is definitely a time to be in energy, which is kind of interesting though. Technically though, this is, this is simply opportunity type thing happening. Like, world events are pushing energy up, and that will happen. That will definitely happen. And one interesting thing, and I'm going to talk about this on the weekend, but Biden earlier this week was talking to Israel and saying, look, if you're going to retaliate on Iran, don't hit them in their nuclear facilities. Go for their oil. I'm just like, oh boy, that. And if that were to happen, oh boy, that would certainly be good for the price of oil. Certainly be very, very good. So we'll have to see how that goes. Paul says, yesterday bought 30 more shares of MSTR, so MicroStrategy, at 162.63, closed today at 176.51. That is absolutely crazy. But here's the thing. Once Bitcoin begins this big pump, and I feel like I'm a broken record on this. I really, really do. But when it happens, this MicroStrategy price is going to be through the roof. And now I know there's a lot of MicroStrategy ETFs starting to pop up too. So there could be some opportunity there. I'm just saying. Ricardo says, yeah, the oil pushed 5% on that comment alone. Yeah, absolutely. That comment blew things up. The price of oil exploded Thursday morning when he made that comment. So something to keep in mind. Let's see, what made you get rid of a loser stock? I have held GROY for 573 and been debating on taking loss or not, but fundamentals are there, so I feel it's a matter of time. So with DE, I like the company. I do. But they're just, the manufacturing sector has been taking a bit of a hit. And I think until that sector gets back on its feet, DE is kind of not going anywhere. And I was looking at them and I was hoping, I wanted a way out. I was thinking like, okay, I was getting a little bit tired of that volatility that we were having on DE. And it was just more or less an opportunity because of what's going on in the world and what's happening with oil. It's an opportunity to make up that loss. And I'm like, okay, let's do it. We'll ride XEG up. Now I'm bullish on XEG. This is one of my favorite energy ETFs, non-cover call ones. So I'll probably ride it up, and I probably won't sell. I'll probably just leave it there because I'm certainly happy with energy overall. So yeah, and that's what it is. Sometimes you have a couple of options, right? If you're in a loser and you don't see any potential of it getting back up, and you see another stock that is low, and energy right now, even though we've been going up, energy is low. Let's be honest about that. They're down because energy has suffered quite a bit. And I'll give you an example here. Let's pull this back up. Am I still on XCG? I am. All right, we're going to go to the 5-year. All right. Well, I guess in the 5-year, you can't really tell. I don't know. I guess it's back up again. But nonetheless, I think oil is still going to do really, really well. For some reason, I thought we were down. I thought we were down lower than we were. But we have recovered. We've recovered. Okay. Fantastic. I'm actually loving that a little bit more. That's what I've see. This has been an ETF. Like it has been doing stellar all the way. Like I think I first started looking at it down and around here, and it's just been really, really good. I think it's just that this here part, it felt kind of down after you peaked up here. And we've only just gotten back to that level where they peaked. But I still have loved this ETF for ages. And I think I've even got some videos on why I love it from way, way back. But yeah, no, this is just to me, it's a great ETF. And I still see a lot of potential, but it doesn't prove the point I was trying to make. The point I'm trying to, what's let's try something else. Let's actually, let's go to, we're going to go to Ryokan. So if you were looking to make a sideways move with a loser right now, another option could be, for example, something like Ryokan, where they normally are sitting up around $25. But of course, we had a pandemic when they started to get their way back up. They made it. They did make it. And then we went into a bear market, and straight in out of that bear market came all the aggressive rate hikes. Now we're starting to recover. We got the rate cuts coming in. So this price, like right now, we're sitting at 19. It is going to go back. It'll go back to here. We will see it at 25 probably around the end of the cycle of rate cuts. It'll be back up around 25. And that's fantastic. So this is one of those ones that you could use potentially. Let's say you have a stock that you've been holding for a while. It's just a dog, or maybe it has good fundamentals, but it just has no potential right now to recover. You could make a sideways move to a company like Ryokan, because you're going to pick up, you're going to pick up about $5 in share value, and you're going to get some half decent dividends at the time. Like right now they're sitting at 5.598% yield. So that's not too shabby. That's not too shabby. All right. Perfect. Now, oh gosh, I need a need a sip of coffee. But that's one of the things that to me is what I call a good sell, like a good loss. So sometimes taking a loss, moving it to something that is going up, it's not a bad thing. It's not a bad thing. And there's also nothing wrong. Like if you have 100% confidence in, for example, GROY, and let's just take a look at GROY since we're talking about it. All right. So this is a gold royalty. Oh, that's interesting. That's interesting. Gold's been doing well, so you'd really be expecting. Let's pull up the year. This company's just not. That concerns me. That does concern me. Now they are technically, even though they're above $1, I would still call them a penny stock. So that's kind of not a great thing. Now, let's see here. All right. Let's see. I know that they are a royalty. I do like royalty companies, but right now, I just don't know why they're not being successful. That's kind of interesting here. Now, you probably have done a lot more research into this than I have for sure. But let's see here. Their debt to equity ratio, low. And that's exactly what we should be expecting. Royalty companies tend to have very low debt to equity. But you can see down here with their return on equity minus 3.68%. So they're not profitable. They're losing money. It's hard to lose money with a royalty company. Yeah, I don't know. I don't think if you find an opportunity, Ricardo, I would certainly consider it. I'm not liking this company at all. Oh, and it's very rare that I will say I don't like a royalty company. So I'm just putting that out there. Oh boy. Let's see, just on cruise control DCAing into VFV, XQQ, and SCHD. Not too shabby. Not too shabby. And yeah, GROY is a royalty of gold, no debt, and positive cash flow. Well, it says positive cash flow, but I'm getting a negative PE ratio. So that usually is not a good that usually doesn't indicate positive cash flow. But maybe there's something else going on there, because I only took a very cursory look at them. But so that's why you've been holding it, because you're expecting to see upwards of revenue of 65% per year. Oh, if you're going to hold, I wouldn't add any more to it, not until you see some signs that that's actually going to happen. Boy. 9 says, I'm on the phone right now. Can't check. Is XEG on the TSX? Yes, I believe they are. I don't think they're on the V. I think they're right on the. Let me just pull back here. RioCan XEG. Yeah, they're on the regular TSX. So there we go. Funny Book says GRT.UN passed trading a couple of days ago. Something about Debenture. I couldn't make sense of it. Could you look it up? GRT. Let's take a look. So that's Granite. All right, Granite Real Estate. Let's take a look here. All right. So I can see they've been doing good since the rate cuts. They've they went from 65 to 80, so that's not too shabby. All right, but something caused them to pause trading. Debenture. Huh. I'd have to look more into that to see. Well, let's let's just take a look here. All right, Granite REIT trading paused. We'll see. Maybe something will come up to give us an idea of what's going on. Okay, so they did have a corporate restructure. Look at this. Let's take a look at this here. All right. Now, this is on investing. Let's see. Granite Real Estate finalized unwinding of its stapled unit structure. Operates within real estate sector. Okay. So it might have something to do with this restructuring. I'm not 100% sure, but it could be. That's probably what's been going on. But otherwise, outside of that little pause, let's come back here. They're doing great. Like, look at this. They're already up to 80. Like, let's go back. Let's go back here. And as you can see, I want to go actually further than that. Let's go to 10 years. So they were doing fantastic. And here's, of course, the pandemic. During the bull run after the pandemic, they got up to 105. And then, of course, bear market and aggressive rate hikes. That got them, and now they're back up to 80. So they're on their way. I don't know if 105 will be their target, but I would imagine maybe about 96 to 100 could probably be where they end up on the other side of this. Or if you want to go really conservative, 91. But I think they'll do better than that right now. So, it's not looking too shabby. Not looking too shabby at all. Jursky says, talking about a penny stock. Talking about a penny stock. Any news about Greenland renewables? Not really. But let's see. Let's take a look at them. Greenland. Oh, not Greenland. Green-Lane. All right, and here we go. Greenland renewables. So penny stock, 7 cents a share. And as you can see, at one point, they were up to about 22 cents, but they have not done well. They have faltered quite a bit. Let's see here. I have a feeling they're probably looking at that slope. I imagine we're going to get this rate here, negative return on equity. So yeah, they're definitely floundering quite a bit. So you got to be careful. So you have to be very, very, very careful when it comes to a penny stock of this kind. Even if they have a great idea, chances are, it's kind of that situation where there's probably a more established company already doing it, and that's what they're sort of fighting against in this case. This is just a company that I think they've been having some struggles. If you're going to continue holding out for them, I would recommend, let's get back here. Just be careful. You know, we have, just going back to the 3 year, I mean, let's go back to the 5 year. You can sort of see they did have this moment. Look at this. This is great. But then they have whatever caused this peak here. Because I mean, look at this. They went up to $2, like $2.46. But whatever caused this, they seem to have failed to capitalize on it. So it almost looks like a one-off, and they've been constantly going down since then. So, when you're looking at a history, I mean, they have been falling. They've been falling since 2021. So they have fallen. Now, this here, mind you, right here, this here is this was during the bull market. They've fallen, yeah. And here's the thing, though, too. So they fell through the bear market. And you could say, okay, well, it's a bear market. That happens. They continued falling through the aggressive rate hikes. But here's the thing. Go away, ads. Holy banana bread. Since June, and let's go to the 6 months. And you can sort of see here, since June, they even with the rate cuts, it's not helping them. They're still falling. Now maybe they don't have much debt. I don't know. Let's take a look. Debt to equity. Yeah, they got about 9%. That's not too shabby. It's okay, but there's no sign. There's no sign of anything good happening with this company. So be careful on this one, Jersky. Be careful. That would be what I would say. Granite REIT announces $800 million offering of senior unsecured debentures was the headline. Yeah, and that's all related to that change we were talking about in the leadership and the management structure. That's all part of that. So I wouldn't get too concerned, to be honest. They're doing great, but sometimes when things are changing, suspending trading will happen. It can happen. It's kind of just part of it, sort of like it prevents anything, like it kind of in some ways, it prevents the share price doing anything kind of funky while there's a whole bunch of internal changes happening. So I wouldn't be concerned. I think this is still a good REIT, and they're moving in the right direction. They're doing exactly what they should be doing. All right. Ricardo says, when do you look to add to your winners? Like, for example, I'm up 42% on UEC and 40% on AXON, but I add and mess my average, or I let it ride into the sunset. Well, you got to look at it this way. If you are, when you're looking at like your stocks that are way, way up, sometimes it can be difficult to add to them because you're sort of looking at them and it's like, they're high. Maybe they're going to come down, maybe they're going to correct. But the reality is a lot of these high stocks, if they're a good company, they're probably still going to go higher. So here's my strategy. This is how I look at it. So if I have a winning stock and it is sitting at, so let's say if it's just a single company, and you guys know, I like to keep a single company at about a 5% stake in my portfolio. So if it's falling below 5%, I will DCA into it to get it back up to 5%. But if it's sitting at 5%, I'm not going to buy it. Even if it comes down, probably still, unless occasionally, sometimes situationally, I can have a very good stock. So let's say I was at my maximum on a CNR, because I love CNR. If I was at my maximum on CNR, I was sitting at a full 5%, and they had a really big price correction. Maybe there was just some news or something that I don't think is going to rebound right away. I would probably jump on and grab, push myself above my number. I might do it in a situation like that. I wouldn't go above much, but I might grab at least a little bit. And then I wouldn't buy any more and let that number eventually settle back down to 5% by not buying any more. So, it really comes down to what, and keep in mind too, I mean, if you really love a stock and it is, and it's at an all-time high, but it's a stock that has a history of going up, and you're looking on the long term. If you're a long-term investor, I wouldn't even worry about the fact it's at an all-time high. So if your time frame, especially your time frame, keep in mind too, if you have, like, let's say you're 30 years old, you've got at least 30, 40 years ahead of you to let things grow. I wouldn't even be, at that point, I wouldn't even worry. I would just be DCAing into my stuff that I like. If I get over diversified, I might take some actions, or I might take some profits occasionally, because that's what happens. When you do get over diversified, you tend to be taking profits to get yourself back down. But I think it's fine. Jersky says, see, I am not down much on Green Lane. It goes to show that I can't be trusted to pick growth stocks. I'm also down on Lightspeed, but at least I was in that one once and made a good profit. Yeah. And that happens. That does happen. Sometimes you just, you pick a stock and it just doesn't work. I've been there. I think everybody's been there. If you're that one investor who never picks a bad stock, then you pretty much should be ruling the world, because you're going to have a lot of great funds. So even Warren Buffett picks bad stocks. It happens. And sometimes, even if all the fundamentals are perfect on something, you can pick it and then some black swan event happens, and it's like, there's nothing you can do. It happens. It does happen. Hey, do you have ATD? So Alimentation Couche-Tard. I had them in the 0 to 100K challenge. Now, I did sell out of them. And part of it is I was looking at what's going on and what's been sort of down the road, because I'm concerned with, if they get to the point that they do buy 7-Eleven, one of the concerns I have is that to finance that, they're going to be looking at some dilution. So I thought, I'm going to get out of them for the time being. I do love their stock, though. I absolutely love Couche-Tard. To me, they're a really good stock. Even if they have dilution, I think you're still gonna, if you're on a long-term scale with them, you're still going to be fine. It's not like they're going to, like the price is going to get cut in half because they printed so many shares. It's not going to be like that at all. For me, it's more or less, if I see that dilution come along, like if the deal goes through for 7-Eleven, we see that little bit of dilution, that price comes down, that to me is going to be my new entry point back into them. So I do like them. How do you think about PZA? With my brain. But no, I know what you actually mean here. I like PZA. So let's take a look here. So PZA, by the way, that's Pizza. Now they are a royalty. They're a royalty stock, so I love them right away for that. Now I do hold them in the 0 to 100K challenge too, by the way. All right, let's take a look. Now they, of course, through the through the bear market, through all the rate hikes, it impacted them. Absolutely. People not spending as much money on luxuries. And it's funny, I think I just classified pizza as a luxury, but you can, oh my gosh, the ads are going crazy today. But you can sort of see here, since the last month, they have started making some move back up. I'm liking this. I am liking this. I do like this company. I think there's no reason why they can't get back up to about $14, 14, maybe 14 and a quarter. I think they're going to be fine. So yeah, definitely a good company. I like them. I like the fact that they're a royalty company. So I think they're going to do fantastic. Let's see here. I bought GRN for 20 cents. All right. So we're talking, yeah. I think they were just here. Let's see here. There we go. Let's come back here and take a look at where you bought in. You bought in at 20 cents, and now they're worth like 7 cents. Oh, boy. We'll just put in that 3. So 20 cents. Right about here. So, yeah. And they have not yet really made any movement back to that 20 cents. I hope you have. I hope you don't have a lot of it, Andrew. I hope you don't have a lot. I, I'd like to say it'll loop back up to 20 cents, but I would not be willing to bet money on it doing that. I'm just saying. So, that may be, take it, do your due diligence, of course, but I would not be overly enthusiastic about this stock. Hello, kitten. The kitten's just here trying to con some treats out of me. All right. We got Patricia in the house with a hi. All right. And hey. Just try not to climb over stuff. That's what I'm trying to tell her. Not to climb over stuff. All right. I think she's given up. Yep, she's leaving. It's like, you're not going to give me treats, are you? All right. So Ricardo says, that's how I felt with August 2nd. All I was able to do was white knuckle what I was holding in, hoping fundamentals do their job. Yeah. Mary forgot to say hit the like button. I don't think Mary's here. I haven't seen her. But yeah, guys, hit that like button. I'm going to have some coffee. So hit the like button while I'm drinking. You got nothing better to do, right? Oh, so good. And Jersky says, I'm in at GRN at 24 cents. A little bit worse than Andrew. It's like you guys can have a little club. You guys can have a little club saying, and this is the thing. Because you know how I talk about, those investors who will not take a loss? That's kind of what we're looking at with this GRN sometimes, is that you'll have people who get in with something like this and they're like, but look, it used to be at $1.55. Or heck, even here at 79 cents, it's got to be reasonable. It's got to be reasonable that it gets back up. But no, it doesn't. It doesn't have to get back up. This is a stock that has consistently just lost. There's nothing to say that 3 months from now, you'll be like, do you think GRN's going to recover? It's at 3 cents. So, it's kind of, I can't even, there's no way I can even sugarcoat this stock. I just can't do it. Let's see. Patricia says, GRN is a stock I want to forget. Still in my portfolio, but not looking at it. Yeah, I guess if you don't look at it, it might just not be there, right? It's like quantum mechanics. As long as I don't measure it, it's not a loss. So, oh boy. Jungle says, my stinker is TELUS. My average cost is $24.30 for 9% in the red. Well, the nice thing about TELUS, and I'll show you guys, even though, heck, hopefully you've watched the video, so I'm probably repeating myself. But that's their 5 days. So yeah, things haven't been great the last 5 days, but let's just go to their 6 month. So this is the nice thing. Since the rate cuts back here in June, they have gone from 2043 up to 2211. So that is some positive. And I do think we're going to see TELUS. Now, I know the 1 year projection for TELUS is around 24, a little over $24. So you might get close in a year, Jungle, to making that up and getting you back into the green. So let's hope. Yeah, we'll have to see. We'll have to see how this all goes. I think as long as if the economy starts to rebound a little, if we don't go into a recession and the rate cuts continue, I think it will be good for TELUS. So, we could hopefully get you back into the green. Hopefully. Missy says, hello, Candace. Hello, Missy. Good to see you. Tom says, if you want to park some funds, $300K to get a fairly decent return, 5 to 6% with low volatility, what would you pick? Honestly, I think there's a lot of options here. So right now we have and what you're looking for is in a case like this where you're trying to park some funds, you're looking for something that will be have some stability. So we've looked at REITs. REITs are doing really, really well right now, and they're going to continue through the rate cuts, as will utilities. Utilities, I think, are going to do really, really well as well through those cuts. So those are two sectors. I think if I was going to park, I wouldn't park it all in one stock. I would probably, let's say 150 in utilities, 150 in REITs, spread them out across some companies that have some pretty good fundamentals. That's probably one way I would certainly look at it. Now, and you don't have to go full in on those two sectors. Right now, for example, I wouldn't recommend oil. Like, I wouldn't say throw all your money into oil right now, because there's a chance. There is a chance that oil is going to absolutely explode, but that also requires that Iran explodes at the same time. So you got a couple of things that are happening. So you don't want to peg your money on geopolitical events. I think it's going to happen. I do. But, all it takes is calmer heads to prevail, and it doesn't happen. And I really hope I'm wrong on that one. But yeah, I would definitely look at the sectors that are going to do well for the rate cuts, because that's what's going to happen over the next year. And you're going to look at some pretty good returns in those sectors. So for right now, we're already seeing it in utilities. We're seeing it in, well, look, we already looked at a REIT. Let's look at a utility. Let's do Fortis. We'll do Fortis this time instead of Enbridge. Where is Fortis? Oh, here it is, all the way down here. All right. And when we look, we'll just go to the 6 month. So here's the beginning of rate cuts. Fortis, they've already gone from 52.44 to 60.33. They've already started. So, and these are going to continue as we see these rate cuts. It is going to help. Now, is this going to be the steepest part of the climb? Maybe it is, but they're still going to climb nonetheless. So you're still going to be looking at total return, and we're talking total return here because when you look at the dividends, you're only looking at about a 4% yield, but you are looking at, this is where that growth is coming in. It's from that total return going up. So I think, I'm big on utilities. I'm big on REITs, so real estate. I think there's going to be a lot of opportunity there. All right. Ooh, that's nice. So Andrew says, I bought GRN at 20, then sold at 120. Glad I did, even though it ran more after. Okay, perfect. So are you out completely now, Andrew, or is this just a, oh, it's funny. We got two Andrews. I just saw a second Andrew, and I'm like, wait. What did you it's like, for a second, did he change his picture? All right. So did you get out at 120 and you're not in it anymore? Or are you back in at 20? Hopefully, I mean, it sounds to me like even if you are back in at 20, you probably hopefully made enough at that 120 that you're still going to be in the green overall. Glenna says, hi, Candace. Are you still confident on BCE? All right, let's go back to BCE. So I added it in the challenge because I felt like we were at the bottom. For BCE. Now, you look at this, and this is just 5 days. We've had crappy 5 days. But let's go to that 6 month here. So this is BCE. So this is the beginning of the rate cuts back in here. So, they went from 42.81 up to 45. So they're already climbing. They've already started to show that they are responding to these rate cuts. And it makes sense because look at this. Let me go into the key data. Let's go to their debt to equity. They got a lot of debt, 245% debt to equity ratio. So the rate cuts are basically lowering that servicing costs on their debt. That money's going back into the company, making things flow better, and that is already starting to show up on their price. So yes, I am still bullish on Bell for sure. I just think, and I will also say, I will say that I'm thinking the same thing for all of the communication companies, even Rogers, and I don't like Rogers. I think they're all going to do well, not as well as REITs and utilities. I think they're going to be more of a slow burn, but we're going to start seeing things moving in the right direction with those companies. Andrew says, I'm sure this question has been asked so much already, but day trading in an RRSP, good or not when it comes to the CRA? It's perfectly fine. And here's the reason, Andrew, just to give you the reasoning behind it. Everything you make in your RRSP via day trading is going to get 100% taxed anyway. So the reason you can't day trade in a TFSA is you're basically creating income that's not being taxed because it is income. And that's why you can't do it in the TFSA. But in the RRSP, you're creating income. You're not being taxed right away, but whenever you do pull it out of that RRSP, it's 100% taxed. So yeah, it's perfectly fine. That's one of the reasons that there's really not a lot of rules inside of that RRSP because everything is taxed 100%. So you're absolutely fine. The CRA, they're not even going to bat an eye at you. Heck, if the government knows that you're day trading and doing well in your RRSP, they might be saying thank you because they know they're going to get taxes on all of that when you pull it out. Let's see. A Funny Book says the Conservatives was attacking Mark Carney. I hadn't realized he was with Brookfield. So BN and BAM are doing great. Oh my gosh, yes. Well, gosh, let me take a look. Let me show you something here. All right. So here's Brookfield Asset Management. So BAM. We're going to go. Even this last week, that hasn't been a great week. Look at that. They're doing well. But let's just go to that 6 month. All right. So you can see they got off to a slow start, but they have exploded since early July. They had this one little bump, but they've had this nice big bump. So they, once again, go away, ad. Too many ads. Once again, they've exploded from $52 up to 64. That's since pretty much, that's part of rate cuts definitely coming in there. It's absolutely crazy. It's crazy. I'm loving it. And Brookfield Corporation, BN, let's just take a gander here. All right. And let's just go to their 6 months. They're also, look at this. They've gone from 53 to 72. Like both of Brookfields have been absolutely, they've been owning the TSX for sure. They're doing really, really, really good. And as far as I'm concerned, these are two fantastic stocks. And the funny thing is, Brookfield Asset Management is the premium asset. So they're supposed to be doing better than Brookfield Corporation. But I'll tell you, Brookfield Corporation is doing better. I did a deep dive not that long ago on Brookfield Corporation, and I did use Brookfield Asset Management in that, as a comparison in there, and they were beating them. And that's something I wasn't expecting to happen, but it has been happening. So fantastic companies, absolutely. Don't and listen, Mr. Palayev and the Conservatives, if any of you are watching this, don't beat on Brookfield. Leave them alone. They're doing what we need them to do. So we will just leave that alone. And holy banana bread, we got ourselves a super sticker from the wonderful Missy, and that means that Missy is now our GOAT. Hello, GOAT, Missy. And for those people who don't know what a GOAT is, because you hear it a lot, and sometimes, you never know, it stands for greatest of all time. So it's just, It's one of them expressions. I know the first time I heard people using it, somebody calling people a goat, and I'm like, what? What are you talking about? Why are you calling them a goat? That's not nice. But yeah, absolutely. That's what it's all about. So thank you very much, Missy. I really, really appreciate it. It's always awesome. So now I actually give me a second. I have to go over here to see what the sticker is. Ooh, it's a fox. And I do like little cartoon animals. Of course I do. That's fantastic. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I'll just pull that out of the way. Otherwise, you get infinite me's. And although maybe infinite me's is like the pathway to infinite wisdom. I don't know. That was just kind of a crazy, crazy thought. So, oh my God, you know what we have not done? We've not taken our final look at the market. I'm like, you guys have been just so awesome that I absolutely forgot. All right, where the heck is my mouse? Here it is. All right, here we go. Let's quickly gander at that at the end of the market. All right, let's get back to the TSX. So we did finish in the green, nice, up 0.81%. S&P 500 up 0.90, NASDAQ 1.22%. Not too shabby at all. Dow Jones up 0.81, gold down 0.12, silver up 0.63, WTI kicking butt 1.22% up, Bitcoin up 2.62%, Ethereum up 3.28%. Over on our heat map, we got a good amount of green here. And as we do in our second run, we're going to get rid of the losers. We just want to look at the winners right now. And you can sort of see energy doing fantastic. Also, look at this. We got a lot of positivity down here in some of the utility companies like Enbridge, Pemina Pipelines. A lot of it doing really, doing fantastic. The mouse pad is very, very sensitive. It's a very sensitive, so not too shabby. Manulife Financial, they're doing pretty good, up 2.17%. Over here, somebody did ask about Alimentation Couche-Tard. They're up 0.15%, so not too shabby. Once again, markets are green. All of these ETFs are going to look really, really good. VEQT, XEQT, VEQT is winning 0.94 to 0.90. But, a lot of people I'll tell you one of the biggest reasons I think that XEQT tends to get more fanfare than VEQT is because they pay their dividend more often. I believe VEQT pays their dividend once a year. It's an annual dividend. And XEQT, I'm pretty sure, I think it's quarterly. I'm going to have to double check that. But I think it's quarterly. Our heat map for the US, this one here, I don't even have to. Oh, I already had it turned off. No wonder it looked so good. Oh, I didn't even catch that the first time through. That's hilarious. But still pretty darn green. Tesla looking good, 3.91. And of course, we are getting closer to their robo-taxi day. So we'll have to see how that looks. Amazon up 2.50%. Amazon has Prime Day coming up pretty soon. So that is usually a good boost into their stock price too. Broadcom looking good, Meta looking good, Nvidia up 1.68. And cryptocurrency, once again, nice and green, right across the board, other than like Tron and a couple of these little red weird companies down here. But looking pretty good. All right, I have to know. I'm pretty sure. I could be wrong though. It's not like I memorize what every dividend is, but I'm pretty sure that this is a quarterly. But yeah, it is quarterly. Okay. Because that's what was coming up in my head. And usually I'm right, but sometimes I'll second guess myself. And but yeah, no, quarterly dividend on this one. And this is nice. This here, by the way, so this here is the iShares Core Equity ETF portfolio. This is probably the most diversified you can get in an ETF. Like they invest in pretty much I would say everything. Um, Perhaps not everything, but they invest in Canada, they invest in the United States, they invest internationally, emerging markets. So they got a little bit of everything in here. And if you take a look, just look at their last 5 years, you can see, for the most part, they're going up. Now you can see right there that there's the bear market. Here's the pandemic drop, but they've been doing fantastic, fantastic, and they're on their way up. Actually, it's interesting. I know that Brandon Beavis over on Beavis Wealth just recently switched to a fully ETF portfolio, and this is one of the ETFs he chose. And I was like, oh, that's a good choice. That's definitely a good choice. So not too shabby. Andrew says I'm out completely. Okay, perfect. Good to know. Good to know. And I won't look at GRN again. I hope everyone else does awesome with it, though. Oh boy, those. I hope you're right, but I don't think you are. But oh dear. Missy says I still need to get some REITs. Too many to decide. Well, Missy, there are ETFs out there. There's a lot. There's a lot of different ETFs when it comes to REITs for sure. So that's one option where you don't have to decide. It's kind of a fun thing. Andrew says I just loaded up on ALV on the venture. All right. So ALV, let's take a look here, guys. Here we go. So this is Alvo Petro Energy, and they've been on my list a couple of times. Now they're not a super expensive stock, but they do have some potential. They have potential. Now they've suffered as oil had some issues, but you can see they are slowly creeping back up. But part of the reason that they aren't growing as fast as I think they should be is they pay a crazy dividend. So 9.539%. It's a quarterly dividend, but when you're paying that big of a dividend, it does certainly hinder the growth a little bit. Now they will do well as oil, of course, it goes up. And if we take a gander in here, here's one of the beautiful things. Their debt to equity ratio, 10%. So not very much. And they're very profitable. So they can afford to pay, but I'm kind of that person that says, you know what, if you're still a small company, and when I say small, small compared to some of the giant oil companies, because take a look here, their market cap is 189 million. So, I mean, it's still small. I mean, it's not in the billions, but they do have that potential to grow, I think. And I think having such a huge dividend, it's kind of, and also keep in mind though, too, I want to, let's keep this in mind. So if they were back up around $10, that 9% yield, it's closer to 5%. It's closer to 5%. So there is that. So that is inflated a little bit too. You do have to take that into consideration, but I think they'll be fine. All right. All right. Janine says, what is the relationship between BAM and BN? So BN, Brookfield Corporation, that's kind of like the management group of the Brookfield companies. So they, at one point, this is going to be, this is where I'm like, I want my whiteboard back, but they've already taken it. The YAM board I was using is now gone. So I don't have a whiteboard, which really annoys me because this would be a great situation where we could use it. But BAM, there used to be Brookfield Asset Management. So there was an old BAM. So it was BAM.A. And they ran, of course, they basically ran all of the assets, all of those assets, premium assets that right now are run by both BN and BAM. So what they did is they actually separated. So BAM.A, they basically became BN and they spun out a new BAM, a new BAM. So it gets confusing. So you have BAM and BN, which both were like the kids of, well, look, call BAM BAM Jr. if you want. But they're the kids of BAM.A. So they spun out BAM from Brookfield, and Brookfield at that time took all of BAM's debt and gave them a lot of premium assets because they want that to be more of a premium asset stock. So that's kind of the relationship between them. They are, I mean, they're technically all run by the same company per se, but they are individual companies within that. But they're all under that all same umbrella. There are other companies as well, like Brookfield Infrastructure, Brookfield Renewables, a whole bunch. So there is a whole bunch under there. I will make it my number one goal right now to get another whiteboard of some kind that I can use because I wanted to use it. I figured it would have been, it's probably confusing what I said, but if I had a whiteboard, it would be absolutely not confusing. So my goal is to get my hands on some other whiteboard program. We'll make that happen. We will find a way. We'll find a way because I miss it. Missy says, I have 100K in XEQT in my TFSA. It's doing well. Yeah, absolutely. Holy banana bread. 100K in XEQT in your TFSA. Now keep in mind, you probably still have a good amount of space in there because if you invested a lot of that money into XEQT when it was smaller, that's just growing your TFSA. So that's kind of cool. Funny Book says, Candace, do you have an Excel sheet or Google Sheets you can share, like the one you use in the challenge to track your investments or dividends? I don't think Wealthsimple have this feature. So I use Excel. I don't know why. I mean, I know Google has, I know Google Sheets is pretty friendly, and they're not that different from Excel, but I've always used Excel. So that's what I use. I am looking at trying to figure out, I'm probably going to get it up over on the Discord. I keep meaning to do it. I haven't yet, but it's a goal to get this up there. So, but yeah, I do a lot of manual tracking just because I like to see everything all in one space and just to sort of show you guys. All right, let's pull this up. So here is, this is my my spreadsheet right in here. Now, oh, it went full. It's this new thing with Apple now. If I go to the side, oh, it's not doing it now when I try to demonstrate it, but sometimes it'll do that. It'll do that, and I have to pull it back. But I do like this because it's doing most of the calculating for me. So, for example, all of these market prices, they're coming from my data tab. So, except for two prices. So, RMAX and YNVD, these I'm not able to pull because for whatever reason, Excel doesn't have that data set up yet. I'm hoping, like with RMAX is brand new, so I'm hoping that gets fixed. But this is pulling data from the markets. So, and then that gets imported over to the actual data here. So I can sort of keep this in track. Now, I have not yet updated. I will do this. I'm going to remove this because we've already done that 0 to 100K. I haven't added in yet the new stuff that I have purchased. So, like I have not removed the DE from here yet, though I have made that purchase. So they're going to be removed. Basically, because there's one dividend coming in, I'm just waiting for that to come in. I'll add that into this number, retire that into my retired dividends. So, because I have to keep track of that as well. But yeah, this is fantastic. It's just one of these things, and I also like to make it a little bit fancy. So, all of that fun stuff. All right, okay, guys, we are getting towards the end. So, if you got your last minute questions, well, let's get them in. Let's get those questions in. Keep in mind, I think on Wednesday, I gave the last minute questions and we went for another 40 minutes or something because you guys had a lot of them. So that's always fun. Gosh, I love that coffee. So, yeah, and it's kind of good. It's kind of good. Now, have any of you guys been out to get the pumpkin spice lattes? Or or maybe some of you actually just don't like pumpkin spice lattes. So that's always a possibility too. Pumpkin for me is just one of my favorite flavors. It's always been that way for a very, very long time, but that's fine. That's fine. While I'm waiting for some questions from you guys, let's head over to Discord. Hell's Gate Purgatory. This is the welcome. What the banana bread is? All right. All right. This is the welcome wagon. Sometimes JJ has fun with the names. And if they annoy me enough, I change them back. So, okay, there we go. Let's see what happens. Let's get out of there. There we go. Welcome wagon. It's back to normal, but coming into the schedule. So the coming on up. We can actually edit this because this is done. There we go. All right. Coming up Monday night. So this is exciting. Monday night, we have our 3-year celebration live stream. So it'll be at 7 p.m. No idea how long it's going to be. We are going to, we'll probably talk about the channel, talk about the past, talk about the future. And I'm going to eat some chicken with the bomb on it. So that might be the highlight. So I think once we do that, we're going to then, we'll answer questions, all of that fun stuff. So save your hard questions for after I take the hot sauce, because that's going to be fantastic. All right. I'm jumping ahead, but don't worry, Larry and Andrew, I will come back. Missy says, I don't think my comments are showing up. Huh. Well, the last comment I got before this one, Missy, was I have 100K in my XEQT. Now, depending on what you're saying, maybe you're hitting, I don't know, if you're saying something, I don't know, that YouTube doesn't like, maybe YouTube is deleting it. I don't know. But right now, there's no moderators in. Oh, the only moderator I have is JJ, and he's not here. So nobody is removing your comments, as far as I know. I hope not. Larry says, will Israel respond? They keep doing it on the weekend when the oil market is closed. That's a funny thing. It seems to me that that weekends are now like the time for stuff to happen. So maybe I don't know when. It's hard to say. I mean, in a way, Israel, they how many fronts do they want? I mean, they've got Gaza, they've got Lebanon. Now they're going to have Iran. It could happen. It could. I don't know. Andrew says, what are your thoughts on semi-penny stocks? It depends. Now, I will say, let's actually come over here for a second. One of my favorite stocks is a penny adjacent stock, and it is Diversified Royalty Corporation. Now, even though, oh my God, are they actually at $3? When did that happen? Wow. Okay, that's fantastic. They've been having a good day. Here's the thing. Even though this is a tiny stock, they actually are on the TSX. They have a market cap here of 501 million. So they're not that small, but they are a little stock. But they've always been great. Like, I've loved this stock. Let's actually go to we'll go to their 10-year here. So they've always kind of been moving around a little bit. And then they had the pandemic, and they've done well after the pandemic. They've come up, and now they're kind of moving a little bit forwards. But I do like the stock. It's always been a good dividend. So right now their dividend yield, look at this. It's a big 8.332%. So that's a lot of dividends. And that's kind of, I've never really been holding them for their growth potential. I've been holding them for those dividends as just a nice, reliable source. But lately they've been growing. They're now back to $3, and that's about where they normally are. Like, I don't see them getting up to $4. I don't, but I'm happy with $3, and I'll certainly add. Anytime they drop. Usually for me, if they drop below 270, I'm wanting to add in. Now on, well, let me take a look here. Give me a second. Let's pull it back up. Let's pull it back up. Whoops, that's the wrong one. All right, there we go. Where is div? Right here. So right now, my adjusted cost base is 276. So they're sitting right now at a total return in the portfolio of 13.01%. So that's, to me, that's not too shabby. I'm absolutely okay with that. Holy cow, what's going on here? Bird Construction's up to 30%. They must have had had a good day or something. Let's take a look at Bird Construction, BDT. I'm like, whoa, they have well, they've been doing good today. Let's just go to the last 6 months. Yeah, look, they've been pulling up a bit again, so not too shabby. They're back up. They're back up. So Bird Construction, I have been absolutely bullish on them as well. So that is cool. All right. Right, and we already got that. Can anyone see? I can see, and thank you. All right. What is the correlation between really? It would be interesting actually to see if there is a direct correlation. So because we just already talked about, how Brookfield Asset Management and Brookfield Corporation are, they're both spun out basically from the old BAM, so Brookfield Asset Management.A. But with their growth, it would be fun to see if there is any kind of a correlate. I don't think, because they are separate entities. And here's the funny thing. So even though I've mentioned Brookfield Corporation's been doing better, you wouldn't think that would happen because, they took all the debt. BAM has next to no debt. Brookfield Corporation has it all. But here's the thing. And maybe this is an edge for Brookfield Corporation, but as the rate cuts are helping them where they're really not helping BAM. So that's kind of interesting. That would be, yeah, I would be kind of curious. I'd love to see them both on the same graph. I'm pretty sure there's no direct correlation other than the fact that the only correlation I can think of is that, it's the same, same umbrella company per se. Let's see. I commented about Preef ETF. Oh, maybe. Did you put a dot in it? Sometimes if you put like a dot, so if you were to put like telus.to or something, sometimes it looks at it and says it thinks you're trying to put a link and it might delete it. So if you are gonna put in like a dot, well, number one, you don't need to. I'm gonna look at Canada anyway first, and then, but if you have to put in a dot, just put in like TELUS. So put in T, and then space, and then just type in dot, and then you could put TO that way, or just put the space there. If you put T space TO, I'll figure that out anyway. But yeah, just be careful with things like that. Sometimes YouTube gets a little bit finicky. And the funny thing is, a lot of times, like, I don't even know, because it doesn't even let me know that you tried to make a comment, which is kind of sad. That will happen. And sometimes, though, this is even worse. So when it comes to a video, sometimes people will leave a response that YouTube doesn't like, but YouTube gives me the notification for the video, for the comment. And I can sometimes see the comment in that notification. Then I go, I go to respond to it, and it's not there because YouTube deleted it. And it's like, what? I can't, and I can't respond, especially if it's somebody I don't know. Now, if, for example, if it's somebody who leaves a comment all the time, I will try to find one of their old comments and come in and just say, hey, look, your comment got deleted, but hey, I can still answer it for you here. So I'll do that if I run into that. But sometimes it just does it. It just does it. It deletes it, and I don't even know about it. So what can I say? Let's see. So YouTube must not like it. I believe it get kicked. Yeah, exactly. Everyone hit the like button. Yeah, absolutely. The like button is pretty useful for sure. Andrew says, I don't know if it kicked my comment that said I just loaded up on ALV. I sold. Oh, you sold your RMAX. Oh boy. Well, hopefully you sold at a profit. And you got in on ALV. Could be a good move. It could be a good move depending on what happens in the Middle East, right? It could be a good move for sure. And there we go. Yeah, Missy, that's exactly what it was. So yeah, don't put the dot in on YouTube. Did I guys tell you guys we're also going to be soon getting something new on YouTube, which is going to be really neat. We will be getting a on the community tab. We're actually going to get a part where it's going to almost become like Discord, from what I understand. So you guys will be able to actually leave messages and create posts on the community tab. Once that rolls out, I think it's rolling out. I don't know if it's rolling out before the end of the year. It'd be nice if it does, but YouTube has been talking about it. So it's kind of funny. It's almost like it'll make Discord a little bit less of a destination, other than the fact that Discord, there's a lot less. You don't have YouTube going in there and deleting it if you put a dot. So, and I think it's easier to share like web pages and stuff. So I think Discord will still be the place to go, but I'm kind of looking forward to seeing what we can do with this new community tab when we get it. Andrew says, I made a quick 1,000 on RMAX. Nice. Nothing wrong with making some profits. Love the profits for sure. Oh boy. All right, guys. Well, we've been here for an hour and a half. I think it's a great show. Oh, and a big shout out to the banana bread company who earned the show for everybody. So I don't know if they're here today. Well, they could be. Any one of you could be the banana bread company. I just don't know. Before we go, I will throw another huge shout out to Missy for her super sticker. So she is the GOAT for this show. So we will be back here again on Sunday. We'll have this week. And of course, don't forget that special show on Monday, 7 p.m. Eastern. It's going to be fun. We'll be here for that as well. I can't wait. So until then, everybody, have a fantastic weekend. And well, I can't do this until I'm big. There we go. Until then, everybody, have a fantastic weekend. You guys rock. This has been another great show. Take care. We'll see you guys on Sunday. And remember, free channel memberships on the Sunday. So we got a bit of a giveaway. Be sure to check that one out. Until then, everyone, take care. Bye-bye. Or not. Okay, we tried. It's funny when I do that, right? Like I wave and then I try to go still because, sort of like the end of a television show, but we'll try that again. All right. Bye-bye, everybody.